2025 Culpepper Olympic Triathlon. This one's taking place July 26th this year. Love the Kinetic Multisports races. Make sure you head over to the website. Loads of great information out here. Before we dive into the race details, make sure you like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. If you need coaching assistance, advice, any assistance leading up to the race or beyond, make sure you reach out. Contact info is down below. All right, Olympic taking place July 26th at 7 a.m., so it's a bit of an early start out here. Our swim is in a lake, our bike is a rolling, very challenging course, and we have a 10K, very challenging run. They are classifying both of those as rolling. I would argue a little bit that it's more challenging than that. So first up, packet pickup, Culpepper Triathlon. We have two options, Friday 5 to 7 at the race site, or Saturday 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. Location is listed right here. Going back to our details, you can click the athlete guide out here. Very straightforward information out here. Schedule of events, same thing, 5 to 7 packet pickup day before 6 p.m. is a pre-race meeting at the race site. Saturday arrival day, race day, 5:30 a.m. transition opens, 5:30 to 6:30 you can packet pickup, body mark chip pickup. Transition closes at 6:50 a.m. Race start for the Olympic takes place at 7 a.m. and your bike course closes at 10:10 a.m. Olympic awards are at 10:45 and the run course closes at 11:15 for all individuals. Parking is going to take place right here. It's very difficult to see on this map, but this is a very sharp hill out here. This blue section is the bike finish out here on race day. Word of advice, make sure you pack and plan everything ahead of time. You don't want to be traveling down and back up to your car 5 or 6 or 8 times on race morning. You pretty much want to go to your car, clean everything out, bring it down, check in, and then do the race, go back up the hill. It will take a lot of energy out of you if you find yourselves going up and down on race morning. So just be mindful of that. Watch out for that extra energy expenditure on race morning. A little pro tip for you. Out here you can see our swim, which we'll dive into in a little bit. We see our transition zone, so you'll come out of the water, hit the transition. You will run out over here to the mount dismount line, and then you will head out over there. You'll come back in on the bike. Again, very steep hill. Make sure you got your brakes checked. Make sure they are working properly. You're going to need them right here. You hit the transition again. You got a little bit of a jog to go into the transition area, and then boom, you're out again for the run exit. Run up over here, and then you're going to come back on the run this way for the finish there. Address is located right there on page 3. Packet pickup guidelines are listed on page 4 right there. Bring your photo ID, your questions, all of that fun stuff. All right. On page 6, we have the course cutoff times for the Olympic. Swim's an hour, bike's 3 hours, run is 4 hours. You got to finish that run first lap in 3.5 hours. Transition area, first come, first serve for the bikes. Make sure you rack appropriately and you do not touch other people's stuff. Race numbers on the run, you got to have the number facing in the front. On the bike, got to have it on the helmet and the down or the top tube there. And then you got to have your timing chip on your left ankle. Make sure you return it. You're going to get body marked on race morning as well. Make sure you don't skip it. On the bike aid stations, there are none, so you're going to have to bring your race fueling, your race food with you at all times, and you are going to have to rely on YOU to get it done nutritionally on the bike. On the run, different story. You got it 1.5 miles. They're going to have water. They're going to have Gatorade. All is great. Scrolling down page 9, we got USAT rules and penalties. They are listed right here. They are all clickable as well. Really great stuff as usual here. Page 10, we got wetsuit rules. 78 or below, wetsuits allowed 78.1 to 83.9. You can wear it, but you're not going to be eligible for awards. And 84 degrees and above, wetsuits are not permitted. I'm telling you this because of something that we're going to talk about in a minute. We have more information about this swim on page 13, like you're going to start 2 athletes every 2 to 3 seconds. And there you go. The bike, again, no aid stations on the bike. If you are doing the Olympic, make sure you do go to the right, and we'll talk about that in a second as well. You do have a second lap to do. It's not like you are doing the sprint where it's just one loop out there. Run, we got aid every 1 to 1.5 miles, so let's dive into the details. This is our swim course out here on race day. Now, we do start off very, very hot, very, very heavy out here. Before we dive into all of that, though, I did tell you I would talk about something, and now it is time. The water temperature is likely going to be hot. I do not know if it's going to be wetsuit legal. There have been years where it has been wetsuit legal and years where it has not been wetsuit legal. More years than not that has not been wetsuit legal. So plan to not bring your wetsuit, or that's probably a bad advice. Plan to not wear your wetsuit. I would bring it just in case you are allowed to, but they will be posting stuff in the days and the weeks leading up to the race. They're usually pretty good about posting the water temperature out there, so just keep an eye on it. Keep your ears out. Join those Facebook pages. They're great. So swim start's going to be fast out here. Everyone's going to be racing to that first turn buoy. Again, I would kind of stay in the riffraff out here. If it is a very, very hot swim, I might back off a little bit on this first entryway into the swim. A little bit different than what we normally do. This first long section out here on race day, a lot of athletes really keep the pace up without even knowing it, and they really overdo it. They let their nerves get the better of them. Even the faster athletes, this happens to a lot. If you find yourself around a couple of people who are really, really pushing the pace, make sure you try to get on those ankles. But most times, successful strategies are the ones that really just start swimming their own pace right through here. First left-hand bend out here on the rectangle. This is an area where athletes really start to check in with themselves and say, oh crap, I've started way too hard. I need to back it down. Or they double down on their effort and they continue their pace, and they might even go a little bit faster during this stretch. There's not really a whole lot of in between, so if you find yourself swimming your pace, you're probably going to be in no man's land before you know it, and that is a-okay on this race course. Do not chase other people just to chase them. Make sure you remember your pacing out here. Last left turn out here to finish the third side of our rectangle out here. This side is an area where athletes really are they are aware that they're overdoing things, and then they kind of correct it from there. Starting this or getting to the start of this second loop out here, athletes continue to push most times out here. So be aware of that. That check-in that they had, the last stretch of the sides over there is gone for whatever reason. And this side is a go side again. I would really caution against doing that. A lot of athletes, especially if it's a hot water day, a lot of athletes really start to cook themselves out here on race day, and they set themselves up for failure for a large portion of the day, and they really drive up their core temperature, their body temperature out here. Coming back over here, most athletes have a oh crap moment out here and they say, wow, I'm really overdoing it. And then they kind of feather it in for the finish. If you're doing it right, you shouldn't have to slow down a ton. You should really be maintaining your pace out here because we have a really, really challenging bike that is coming up right now. This is the section that we did talk about right here. This is our turn for our Olympics. So what you're going to do is you're going to head out. You're going to do the circle out here, and you're going to hang a right-hand turn for you to go and start your second loop out here before you finish the course again. What that means for you, sprint athletes are going to start 30 minutes after you, so if you are a little bit of a slower swimmer and a medium speed biker, you're probably going to meet up with some sprint athletes during this section here. They are doing a sprint, you are doing an Olympic distance, so their speed is going to be a little bit higher than yours, at least theoretically. So you might find that you are chasing a rabbit just to chase them, and they are not doing the same race as you. So watch out during this section right through here, and it kind of lasts up until there. You know, most people can kind of figure out who's doing what after this point here. So don't get caught up in those games for an athlete that's not even doing the same race as you. But diving into our course. We don't have any aid stations out here. We have about 1,400 feet of elevation gain, 1,500 feet of elevation gain. It is very, very up and down. It's lumpy, it's steep, it's spicy is a great word for this. Maxing out with a grade of 5.2%. You're going to largely find that a lot of these sections have a gradient that you kind of get annoyed by. It's not quite 3%, it's not quite 2%, it's somewhere in the middle. You're up, you're down. You never really have a chance to kind of, establish yourself on race day. And it's going to start pretty much right out of the gate. You're going to be greeted with a nice flat section out here. You can actually start this race in a little bit of a bigger gear and get away with it, when most of the kinetic races you cannot. And Then you're going to take a right-hand turn and it's going to go sideways really, really fast. You're going to be met with an immediate hill coming out of the transition area. And you are correct in seeing that it goes up to about 4% for a little bit. Continuing onwards up here, it's the same out here. So again, think back to that hot water swim. If you've overcooked yourself in the swim, that's going to have huge impacts on the bike. And it happens, this is mile point 0.7 that we're just talking about. So it's going to take a long time for you to get your body cooled off again, and it's going to be a little tricky process to kind of cool yourself off. I'll talk with you individually on that if you are worried about that. For me, I divide this course into a couple different sections out here. The first section we just talked about, section number 2, a rolling downhill section out here. You're going to have some effort level in there, but for the most part, speed should be kind of up over here. Section number 3 is right here. Section number 4 through there. Section number 5 is kind of like no man's land kind of section. It's kind of unique in that it's on its own. You're going to find that you are going to expend a little bit more power that you want to out here, and there's really no escaping that. Section number 6 out here, we elongate that one section than before because we're getting a little later in the race and it just kind of maintains itself. Then our last section is coming back into the finish line. Very challenging spot out here. Athletes typically cramp when they're going to cramp during this section out here. So this is a race that you need to be on your P's and Q's with nutrition before we even talk about the power plan. All right. A lot of athletes cramp up on this race course, and it's, obvious why. There's a lot of up, there's a lot of down. The elevation that you get is not in a straight sections. It's in tiny little pieces here and there, and it's scattered forever on this race course. So athletes really have a problem controlling that variability index out here. A lot of athletes race this like it's a crit style race, and that really, really gets them right around here, right around mile 10 on this race course. Be careful. This is the one of the tougher sections of this course back through here. Yeah, just watch out. It is it's rough. So how do we attack this course before we kind of cover the whole thing out here? So we're going to get rid of speed because it's very, very, very busy on this platform right now. Hopefully you can see that there is a lot of power bursts scattered all around on this course out here. But so this athlete's profile, this is an athlete weighing 160 pounds. Their FTP is about 250 out here. So you can see that we are approaching the FTP realm in a number of places out here, but we're never going to like 300, 400 FTP out here. If you are doing that, I hope you are staying with a pack, staying with a group, and maintaining contact with a leader or a rival or something like that. If you're on your own, there's no reason to go, 130, 140 percentage of your FTP out here for a sustained amount of time. And that's what a lot of athletes get wrong with this course. You've done all this training, hopefully, leading up to this. You have your FTP set, right? That FTP is a great number to abide by for the triathlon, right? Yep, there's going to be times when you are above it, but you shouldn't be double it, right? At pretty much at any time out here. If you are double it, you're in the wrong gear or you've executed this wrong out here. Only a couple of spots out here are you going to be exposed and you have to produce sheer power without hitting a downhill first. You're going to experience a slight downhill, then you're going to go up. So on this course, one of the big secrets is driving the downhills to eat up some of that uphill. You're not going to get the whole way up the uphill at all, right? But if you can build that speed on the downhills, then the uphills are going to be a little bit smaller. Again, we're covering about 1,500 feet of elevation gain, so you're not going to be able to eat up the entire thing. But you will find that your average speed is going to go up if you drive the downhills. It is a technical course, yes. Watch what athletes are doing in front of you all the time. Whether that's for the wind or for the turns, how do they go in? If you see an athlete cut the corner a little bit too tight, almost crash, you do not want to be on that same line. Very, very, common sense things that everyone doesn't think of on race day. If you find an athlete is fueling in front of you and it's kind of a calm place, that might be a good spot for you to fuel as well. If you are alone out there on race day, you kind of have to figure this out all on your own. The first lap's going to be a little rough. Second lap is where you see everyone kind of settling down a little bit. If you do have any incidents, they normally happen on the first lap where you are learning the roads a little bit. Athletes are kind of taking some risks and not really knowing what's in front of them. Keep in mind that this course is not a closed course, so you might experience a couple of cars as well out here. And if you do cross that center yellow line, you are going to get a big fat DQ out here. So or a penalty for you. So just something to be aware of. So the athletes that have a lot of success out here are going to be the ones that drive those downhills to eat up the uphills. Also, the successful athletes are going to be the ones that, when they are going up on the uphills, they're not excessively going over that FTP realm. They are respecting their limits. They are racing to them. They're not worried about what other people are doing unless they're chasing podium spots or win age group titles and that kind of stuff, right? So what does that look like? Let's get rid of this. What does that look like from a time analysis standpoint? So drag on this course, if you improve your drag slightly, you're saving 10 seconds over the course of an Olympic distance race. Power, if you increase it just slightly, you're saving 19 seconds out here. Weight on this course, if you drop from your race weight by 1%, you're going to save about 8 seconds on this course. Rolling resistance, if you improve it slightly, you're going to save 3 seconds. For me, this course is all about power, right? For me, I would be really, really focused on improving my power right now. Improving my power to weight ratio would definitely help, right? If I can increase or decrease weight slightly, appropriately. If I'm already at race weight, then I'm trying to improve power. And I would also try to increase or improve my drag slightly on this course. Rolling resistance, I'm not super concerned about on this one, but always good to, if you do have some improvements out there, you will do a little bit of time savings. Zones out here. Let's get rid of our time analysis and reset this here for everyone so we don't have a whole lot of stuff going on. So zones, this is one of the busiest profiles that you'll likely see on this channel. We even have a healthy amount of time in zone 1. We got 9 minutes in zone 2. We've got 22 in zone 3, 20 minutes in zone 4, and 11 minutes in zone 5. That is purely because of the amount of time you're going up aggressively. I will tell you, if you drive the downhills more, and I keep saying that, if you drive those downhills and you're not afraid to kind of let loose a little bit, this will actually shrink a little bit. You're still going to be doing about 10 minutes of time in this section out here. But if you save speed where you can, you will have a less strenuous race and you'll likely be faster as well. And so that's our bike out here. And keep in mind that it is 2 loops. Our run, we do have a 2-loop course as well. We're going out and back, out and back. The Olympic turnaround is the far one. The sprint is the short one, so don't get caught up in that. What that looks like for us is this, right? We have 6.4 miles of trouble, right? 370 feet of elevation gain. A lot of people, this first mile gets a lot of people out here. You're going to be running out of the transition zone. Similar to the bike, you're going to be greeted with a great downhill. It's going to be pretty awesome. And then you're going to hang a right out here, and then it gets serious. You'll definitely be able to see this from the transition area, from the swim zone out there. You're going to hang a right, and then it gets busy fast. This is all going to be in the sun. And there's no escaping it right here. Once you slowly make it up through here, you are going to be greeted with some shade. It's going to be great if it is a hot, hot day. Humidity is largely a factor on this course too. It's in July, so it's it's a heat race for sure. What athletes get wrong on this course is they get out of here and they try to set the world on fire for this first mile. You really want to wait for this right-hander right here before you really start putting your race together. You want to survive up here. If your core temperature is still high from that swim, you overdid it on the bike, chances are you will not be able to overdo it on the run. I think back to the very beginning of this video. If it's a hot race, you will not be able to set the world on fire for your 10K. It's just reality. So run within your means, run with what the weather has given you, and that will be a huge, huge factor to your success. It's okay to run slightly slower than what you expect in 100-degree heat. It's okay to walk up this hill in a couple of different places, right? Obviously, you want to do that in the steeper sections. It's okay to do that, and you're likely going to save time or save effort over your competitors, and you're going to be able to claw them back. So a huge area that you should be focusing on is this top section back through here, and even this downhill section through there. Those are going to be the bread and butter for you. Lap number 2, same thing. The successful athletes, the podium athletes, are going to be able to push that a little bit further into the future out here, or in the, you know what I'm saying, and they're going to be able to go up this hill a little bit sooner than athletes who are struggling a little bit more. So if you're a mid-pack athlete, realize you're probably going to have to wait till up here to start running again. If you're a slower athlete, then that's likely going to change, and that's going to be likely up to right here. So faster athletes should be able to start running up that hill sooner than the kind of the mid-packer or the back of the pack athletes, and there's nothing wrong with that. So realize where you are as the athlete and execute that race. Also, they're not up here, but there's aid stations out here every mile to mile and a half. What that means for you is that you need to utilize them big time, big time, big time, big time. Don't be afraid to dump water over you. Don't be afraid to take an extra cup of water and dump it on you. Don't be afraid to try to cool yourself off, okay? The successful athlete is going to be the one that takes all the resources and uses it to their advantage. So, that's our Culpepper Olympic, one of my favorite Olympics in the region out here in the kinetic realm. If you have any questions, like I said before, please like, subscribe, share, reach out. Contact info is down below. Good luck to everyone racing this one. One of my personal favorite courses out here. Great riding out here. Culpepper Olympic 2025.